Hi there! Well, I wanted to talk to you today about an interesting way that you may be able to determine how someone feels about their job or their employer. And you may be wondering why I would be talking about this, but it actually can come in handy, especially when you're dealing with someone in a position of customer service. So I was sort of reminded of this recently because of my own customer service experience. And I was working with someone who was telling me, what they could or could not do for me in this particular situation. So what you're listening for is whether or not the person that you're dealing with is referring to their employer as we or they. And that may seem like a really small thing, but it really is significant in how that person views their role with their company. So what you may be hearing from them is, we do this, or we do that, or we can offer you this. Or you might hear them say, well, they won't let us do this, or they won't let us do that. And that's really significant because the we is saying that that person feels like they're part of a team, and they may mean that they feel like they don't have any control and they're just sort of at the mercy of whatever their employer directs them to do, and they don't have sort of any autonomy to be able to make any decisions on their own. It also sort of gives you a little bit of an assessment about whether or not they may feel and any sort of affection for that employer, like they may feel like we do this because they want to seem like they're really part of something, or they do this meaning, well, that's them, but that's not me. I'm separate from them. So when you're working with someone in customer service, it can be kind of important to pick up on that, because you may figure out quickly if you're dealing with someone who feels like they're part of a team, someone that wants to make sure that you're happy, make sure that you have a good experience, or they may feel like there's someone who's just answering the phone, that they don't have any control. They're just trying to process this call as quickly as possible, and it's us versus them, and they say I can do this or that, so that's all I'm going to do for you, and that's going to be it. So how can knowing whether or not someone has a we or they mentality help you? Well, it's going to let you know pretty quickly whether or not they have the willingness and ability to resolve your problem. So if the person that you're speaking with has a we mentality, they probably do feel like they're part of a team, they probably want to see you happy, and they're invested in a positive outcome. If they have more of a they mentality, they're probably not nearly as invested in the outcome, and they frankly may not care whether or not you leave this situation happy. They may be more concerned with just getting through the call, moving on to the next customer, and they probably haven't been given the proper training or the options to give to their customers. So at that point, you may want to move on to someone else, someone that does have more flexibility, that does have more unique problem-solving skills, and at worst case scenario, you might want to take your business somewhere else altogether. But just knowing the difference of the we versus they mentality can be really helpful as a customer. Now, I want to be sure to say that I don't feel like it's always the employee's fault if they have that we versus they mentality. It is often as a result of poor training or poor management, or just rules that the employer has set in place that they don't allow the employees to have that ability to make decisions. They don't allow them the flexibility to make decisions for themselves when they're dealing with unique situations. Now, at other companies, it's really obvious that they do give their employees the proper training, and they do give them the flexibility to determine their own outcomes. We've all had experiences at stores where they have great customer service, and they are really allowed to sort of have that ability in each situation to go in and say, well, what are the set of circumstances here? Let me see how I can help this customer. Let me see which solution best fits them. And then we've also dealt with other places where the rules are this or that, yes or no matter what the circumstance is. So it can be just sort of an important little thing to note when you're talking with someone, to just sort of determine how they feel about their employer, and that might give you a better idea of what they may be willing to do or not willing to do in that situation. So I hope that this was helpful to you. I thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.